What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Catacomb Cult Presents 31 Days of Horror, and this is week 2. I got a fresh batch of movies for you. 7 movies, 7 days. I gotta say though, this year has been a little bit more difficult than last year. There's not as many new movies or movies I haven't seen out this year. So it was a little tough. What do they call it? That too many options paralysis or something. But anyway, let's get right into it. We're gonna do quick reviews. I hope you're following along. Follow at the Catacomb Cult on Instagram. Follow at the Catacomb Cult on YouTube. Like, thumbs up, all that good stuff. And hit me up in the comments. Tell me what you've been watching this spooky season. But all right, let's get right into it. All right, the first movie I saw, and number 8 this month, is called Talk to Me.
Who's up?
I'll do it.
Cannot go for more than 90 seconds. Am I clear?
What happens after 90 seconds?
They want to stay.
When a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed head, they become hooked on a new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes a terrifying supernatural force. And this was directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, and the writers are the same, and it stars Ari McCarthy. This was an Australian film, and it was a hell of an opening scene. Shot really beautifully, cinematography's great. Good story, like unique, original story that I haven't seen before. As far as the dialogue, the accents were a little thick for me. I guess I can't say thick, they're from their native country. But like, I just, as an American me, it was hard to understand at certain points. But you know, that's just my bad, you know what I mean? And everybody was on their phone. I mean, I'm using my phone right now to read notes. But yeah, everybody was on their phone, and it's just like a big problem to me. I don't know, that irks me. That has nothing to do with the movie. That's what our society is. And the story was a little wonky to me. It didn't make sense in certain parts. Like the writing was just a little off. Also, there's this artifact that opens a portal to the afterlife, and there's no black helicopters coming to take that to study it. You know what I mean? I don't know, just little things like that were kind of wonky. A24 always hits it out of the park, but I think it was a little overhyped. Everybody's saying it's like the scariest movie of 2023. To me, not personally, but yeah, it was a good movie though. It was enjoyable. It was one of the best. It was one of the better ones of this week. On to the next one. Movie number 2 is Mom, or not Mom, Ma. That's what I call my mom. Hey, Ma.
Some people fit right in. It comes effortlessly. It must be nice.
Ready or not.
Excuse me? Can you buy some booze for my friends and I?
Oh, there's my girl.
This never happened.
Hey!
Oh my God. You guys want to party like rock stars?
A lonely woman befriends a group of teenagers and decides to let them party at her house. Just when the kids think their luck couldn't get any better, things start happening and make them question the intention of their host. And this was directed by Tate Taylor and stars Octavia Spencer, Diana Silvers, and Juliette Lewis. And all my notes are very spoilerific, so I won't really read those. Yeah, this was a good movie. This is an older movie. I think my sister told me about this years ago. And yeah, I decided to check it out. It was cool. There was a few missteps. There was a few weird plot lines where they would build tension and then cool it off a lot and make it kind of boring and then build it up again. And then I feel like they should have ended the movie in a certain spot and they kept going. One of those type of things. Octavia Spencer's incredible, like always. Cinematography didn't really stand out to me that much. It was okay, you know, but yeah, Octavia Spencer obviously steals the show. Juliette Lewis is always great. I love her. And yeah, it was a decent showing. Oh, and the VFX were kind of horrible. I mean, you know, there's other VFX throughout every movie that you don't even notice, but the main one at the end, the climax, basically, I'll just spoil it a little bit. There's a fire, and that looked garbage, man, like really bad. Like, spend a little more money. On to the next movie, number 10, that's The Pope's Exorcist.
Father Gabriele Amort. On the night of June 4th, you performed an exorcism.
That was not an exorcism.
Father Gabriel Amorth, this is based on a real guy, chief exorcist for the Vatican, battles Satan and innocent possessing demons. A detailed portrait of a priest who performed more than 100,000 exorcisms in his lifetime. And this was directed by Julius Avery and stars Russell Crowe. You know, Russell Crowe's a beast. He's a badass. He brings gravity to every role he portrays, but this movie was just, there was no saving this movie. You know, exorcisms, I think I said this last week, they're hard to pull off, man, and I don't really even watch most of them. I was like, it was late night. I didn't want to spend choice paralysis searching for mad movies, so this was on Netflix. It was easy, just boom, bam, bing, and yeah, man, I was let down. I thought it was cheesy as hell. You know, Russell Crowe is a great performer and great actor, but even he couldn't save this movie. And then I watched a little fact and fiction about the real priest, and his 100,000 exorcisms is kind of just him grabbing people's heads like, you're healed. Yeah, after 40 years, you could rack up a lot of those. So, you know, I would skip this one, but do what you will. On to the next. Number 11 on the list is Pet Sematary Bloodlines.
Where do you think we should go?
Wherever.
Let's just enjoy every second of getting the heck out of Ludlow!
The hell is that?
In 1969, a young Judd Crandall and his childhood friends band together to confront an ancient evil that has gripped their hometown of Ludlow. And this was directed by Lindsay Beer, and it's adapted from Stephen King's novel, obviously. And it stars Jackson White, Natalie Ann Lind, and Forrest Goodluck. Forrest Goodluck, that's a cool name. Good luck. Just off jump, I wasn't really a fan of this movie. It was filmed beautifully, it looked beautiful, the colors were great too. It had like a cooler tone, so it was more somber and bleak. I know a lot of people like this movie. My sister liked this movie. She was singing its praises, but it didn't really hit for me. They do a flashback where they go back to like 1642 or 1442 or something, and I was like, dope. This is dope. They're gonna show the origins of this plot of land, of this pet cemetery, why it's cursed, and they didn't. It was just more of the same. Everybody knows about Pet Sematary for decades now. You put something in the ground, it's a cursed, sour ground, and it's gonna come back and be evil as hell. So they didn't like delve into why it was evil as hell, the folklore. And I was reading online, like, I guess the book, I haven't read the book. I read like 20 Stephen King novels. I never read Pet Sematary, but I guess in the book there's like the Wendigo. That's Native American folklore. It's like this humanoid creature with a deer skull and it's all gnarly. Why didn't they show why they were protecting themselves from that or building this cemetery plot or whatever, you know? They didn't get into that at all. It was more of the same. And another thing that bugged me, young Judd, he didn't have any of the accent, the main accent, the Bangor Maine accent. Like in the original story, the old man is old Judd, and he's like that, don't go down that road, there's devils down that road or whatever. Sometimes dead is better. You know, South Park made fun of that accent. It's a classic accent. And for him not to use that accent, I was like, you could have been an actor and like dug from your soul a little bit, but he didn't. It was just a regular American basic bitch accent. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I could see why people liked it. It was filmed great, looked great. There's definitely some tension building moments and some creepy shit. So I can see why people like it, but it just didn't really hit for me. On to the next one. Number 12 on the list is Ouija, Origin of Evil.
Let's begin. We invite you into our circle. If that's you, give us a sign.
This is a scam.
We do not attack the clients.
We help people. We give them closure.
You are so weird.
In 1967 Los Angeles, a widowed mother and her daughters add a new stunt to bolster their seance scam business by inviting an evil presence into their home, not realizing how dangerous it is. And this was written and directed by Mike Flanagan and stars Elizabeth Reeser, Lulu Wilson, and Annalise Basso. Just off jump, I haven't seen the first Ouija. I have a little bit, like half of it, and I hated it. It was garbage. I shut it off. No disrespect. I'm trying not to like really bash movies that much because I know how much work goes into every movie, even the crappy ones. But that one was trash, garbage. But this one I only watched, so I don't know what I'm missing, if I'm missing Easter eggs or anything like that. But I don't think so, and I don't think I needed them, because this one was directed by a different director than the first one, and it's Mike Flanagan, and everybody knows Mike Flanagan. He's a badass. You know, he did Hill House and that new Midnight Club and a bunch of other ones. Mike Flanagan, he can do no wrong with me. I love the way he shoots, his color tones, his cinematography, and he does a lot of those oneers, they're called, you know, where it's a super long shot that doesn't cut. And he does a lot of those, and they're freaky and they're cool as hell. If you notice stuff like that, like me, like you're just like, damn, dude, what a badass. So I don't know if it's connected to the first Ouija at all, and I don't really care. It's just all the little technical stuff that he does. I don't even know if he shot it on film, but it looks like it is. And he does the classic cigarette burn up in the corner. It was just that kind of stuff I just like salivate over. So props to him. And he doesn't use music to like create tension. He keeps it silent, which is creepier. And I don't even know if the audience realizes it at first. I didn't at first, but there's no music, like, you know, there's no risers, they're called, like, you know, there was none of that. It's just straight up raw dog. And yeah, I really enjoy that. I really enjoy a different type of style. Somebody trying to do something different instead of just towing the line, you know what I mean? So I dig this movie. I think you might go watch it. On to the next film. It's number 13, and I'm gonna try and pronounce it right. It's ERREMENTARI, The Blacksmith and the Devil.
Letzerik bai zerek ekar zaitun, erroi honetara?
Alfredo Ortiz nozue. Diputazioko komisarioa. Kontu bat ikertzen ari naiz. Nola heldu naiteke errementeriara?
Garbitokira heltzean hartu egizu, eskerretara don bidea. Gero segi errekari, basoan ondotik. Baina asti ibili. Toki hartan deabroa bizi da.
A quiet village is thrown into turmoil upon disturbing a reclusive and feared blacksmith rumored to be in league with the devil. And this was directed by Paul Urquillo and written by Paul Urquillo and stars Candido Uranga. And this movie was a surprise to me, a delightful surprise, to be honest. And the language is Basque. And don't watch it with the shitty overdubbed English. Just read the subtitles. The overdubbed English, it's always horrible acting, and it's not how the filmmaker intended. So just read the subtitles. And the language, I don't even think is Spanish. It sounds like Spanish and French, but I think it's a mix, because I looked it up. It's called Basque, and it's a little region on the border of southern France and northeastern Spain. And yeah, it's like a little town, and I've never even heard of it. But it was cool, and this is part of their folklore. And the devil in this blacksmith's like an old folk tale. It reminds me of like Dante's Inferno. Basque is supposedly one of the most ancient languages in Europe. So I thought that was pretty cool. This movie had incredible imagery and cinematography. It was like a treat for the eyes, you know, it was a feast for the eyes. The story, I will say, some of the acting was kind of, even though it was in another language, sometimes it was kind of cheesy, like trying to be funny or something, and like over the top in situations that you wouldn't really think comedy would be. And it wasn't very funny. So it was just kind of a little off. It was a little exaggerated. But I think this is supposed to be like an homage to like Dante's Inferno. The demons and stuff were like plucked out of like some ancient Roman painting, you know? Classic devil look with the red and pointed ears and long tail with the point at the end. I'm not really a religious person at all, but I love the Bible almost like a comic book, because they were saying Abraxas and all these different demon names. It was cool. Like, and I love that it's all practical effects. It was all practical effects. The demons were like dressed, you know, it was prosthetics and makeup artists, and it was dope. And like I said, the imagery again was amazing. The little girl is a great actor, and the blacksmith's a great actor. And aside from the cheesy acting moments, you could really feel like the dread of this man and the town and the fear. And at times, like, I can't even really explain it. It reminded me of Frankenstein, obviously with the pitchforks and torches and stuff. The town goes marching with the pitchforks and torches. That reminds me of Frankenstein, but I'm not even just talking about that. I'm talking about the way things were framed and like the blocking of the actors and stuff. Just felt like a 1930s film at some points, but it still looked incredible. And there is a final crescendo moment at the end where they go to hell, and you can really see the limited budget in the hell scene. I will say that. It was a little, the VFX, you know, it was a little wonky. This movie might not be for everybody. It's a little campy, it's a little weird, but I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was a pleasant surprise, and I'm glad I watched it. So watch it. And the final movie for this week is number 14, Scream 6.
Please help me. Just down here. There's a line here, girl.
You got a problem here, guy?
In the next installment, the survivors of the Ghostface killings leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh new chapter in New York City. And this was directed by Matt Bettinelli and Tyler Gillett, and stars Courtney Cox, Melissa Barrera, and Jenna Ortega. I'll be quick on this one. I don't want to bash it too much, but I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Like, this is getting crazy reviews, and even other YouTubers that I really respect. There's like these two YouTubers that I love. One is this woman, and I usually agree with her 95% of the time, but she was like singing this movie's praises, and I don't know, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. And this other guy who I really respect, I agree with him like 80% of the time. He was singing his praises too, and then I look on Rotten Tomatoes, it's all up. I don't get it. I hated number 5. I hated all the sequels, to be honest. Number 1 was dope. Maybe it's because I was a kid and it was like part of my youth. Number 1 was dope. It was a good Wes Craven horror movie. So I'm not gonna bash it too much. I didn't like it at all. Like, it annoyed the hell out of me. The only reason I just watched it is for this damn challenge, because normally I would have shut that off, thrown it out the window, thrown my TV out the window, you know what I mean? But yeah, I didn't like it. There was no new details. Like, they could have made it a cooler, I don't know what they could have done, but I didn't like it. I know how much work goes into making a movie with the lighting, the grip people, the makeup artists, the actors, the caterers, everything, you know, there's so many moving parts, but the end result on this one, I hated. I hated it. Everything annoyed me about it, and I just wanted it to stop. But I had to keep watching it for you. And this is what I do for you. I put my heart out on the line for you guys. But anyway, thank you. This has been week 2 of the 31 Days of Horror. And I hope you've been following along. I hope you're watching as many movies as you can. Horror movies that you haven't seen before. That's the only criteria, that you haven't seen before. No rewatches, or else I'd be watching all kinds of other stuff. But movies you haven't seen before, follow along, drop in the comments, and we'll see you next week for another roundup. Peace. I love you. Smooches. Bazooka loves you. Here, Bazooka wants to say bye. Bye-bye, guys. Happy Halloween. On to next week. She hates this. All right, peace out. Smooches.
Established in 399 BC, this is the Catacomb Cult.